Hey guys, starting this vlog off a little differently. So I'm actually starting with a little bit of gear prep. I normally don't do a ton of prep work for the projects that I'm in. Usually it's just, know who the interview subject is, get my gear, get my batteries charged, my monitor, all that stuff, and just make sure I packed everything. This gig is a little different because it's for a med spa company, and specifically I was requested that I needed a teleprompter because an agency in California was going to create a bunch of scripts for them to read directly off the teleprompter. So I ordered this one off Amazon very, very quick as soon as I landed the gig, and here I am trying to figure out how it works. Not gonna lie, after using it, it's pretty simple, a lot more simple than I thought it would be. It's actually pretty nice. I'm debating on keeping it or not. If I get more gigs that require it, I definitely will keep it, but I am still definitely on the fence if I'm gonna keep it or just return it because I don't get a lot of these teleprompter gigs. So I always forget how much gear I have lying around until I have it all laid out. Here I have light stands and boom pole, Aperture 300X, my backpack that has my iPad and my laptop, and I have my Pelican 1510 for my camera case, and this is not including all the gear that's already in my car, so it's gonna be an interesting pack. This is the not super fun part of video production. I'm actually importing a bunch of scripts into my iPad to be used as a teleprompter. I have 2 down, a bunch more to go. A bunch. So it's 11 at night and I just barely got all the scripts uploaded into my iPad. It's 11 sections, each of 5. So I think that's 55 scripts in total. I have no idea how we're gonna run through this in an entire day, but you know what? I can be surprised, and time to go to bed because it's gonna be a very early morning. I'm not even gonna show you the trunk because it's so full, but that's everything I have in here. And then in the front I have my backpack and I have my Pelican. This car is actually stuffed to the max today. So one great part about the gear today is my friend let me borrow his rock and roller cart, and this thing is awesome for being able to just save me a bunch of trips going back and forth to my car. I don't know if you've saw the other vlogs, but it's definitely a hassle having to carry all the gear, just one piece at a time, 2 pieces at a time. How much gear I can take per trip, and it's just a little bit more peace of mind. I feel like I can move a lot quicker because I can carry a lot more gear in one trip. So it's not perfect, but I'm actually able to get a good amount of stuff on the cart, so that way I don't have to take it with just my 2 arms. I got 2 camera cases, light, all of my stands, sandbags. Yeah, this would have taken me way longer to bring in, so I will have to do a second trip, but this cart that my friend let me borrow is actually pretty insane, and considering the size of my car, it's pretty small actually. Lets me carry a lot more gear, lets me be more nimble. So here I am just setting up this shoot. I did not get a ton of details. Honestly, I got this gig through Facebook. So I get a lot of my gigs either through referrals or through Production Hub, but this one was just on a Facebook group. There was a call for a videographer one day in South Lake, Texas. I've seen Peter Mockery also commented on the post as well, and it feels a little awkward because I'm pretty new to freelance, so I normally don't know a ton of the filmmakers around here. I've gone to networking events and I've gotten to know a whole lot more people, and now I'm finally starting to see familiar faces who are often trying to pitch themselves as DPs or videographers for the day. But yeah, it was very interesting seeing other familiar faces on that Facebook post as well, but in the end, I'm the one who landed the gig. Met the producer just now. We had a little bit of a chat.
We have a lot of scripts to go through, so they're currently deciding which ones they're gonna go with. They might go off script. There's a lot of questions in the air right now, but for what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get as much gear as I can just set up, so then I don't have to worry about bringing it in for the car or additional times for just building gear up. I just want to get as much as I can built up, find my frame, and be ready to be very efficient and quick when it comes to either B-roll capture or testimonial/interview stuff.
So normally I try to find the frame as the very first thing I do, but since there was so much extra gear that I normally don't have to prep, I decided to just build up as much gear as possible and then figure out what we're gonna do next. I actually brought two FX3s with me today. One is entirely on the teleprompter, will just be the A cam, will just stay there on a V-mount battery the entire time. Just for the interview, testimonial, like teleprompter parts of the day, which was most of it. I actually have the producer who he runs some media agency. He actually flew up from Miami to just oversee the shoot. He was actually a really chill guy. Here we are kind of changing a few things around, changing the set, and here is my very ghetto diffusion. For now, I decided to use 2 paper towels, actually, just lightly around, not on the bulb so it doesn't catch fire, but I used 2 paper towels inside of the lamp to kind of act as some diffusion, make the light a little bit softer and a little bit darker so it's not completely blown out. And this is the complete lighting setup. The boom is on technically the wrong side of the frame, only because that walkway on the right needed to be clear because we did not shut down this entire med spa for the day. This is just a day where they had less clients, so they'd be easier for us to get in these interviews, these testimonials, all the talking head pieces. It was a lot easier for them to do this today without having to shut down the entire business. So I ended up booming from the left side, the key side of the face. Normally you do not want to do that because I think it has something to do with casting a shadow on the subject. Luckily, we did not have any issues with that at all. 300x on the light dome as the main key light, and I have the the Amaran 200x pointed straight up towards the ceiling, just bouncing and overall casting just a general fill light everywhere, and which worked great because the entire place was filled with white walls. So that just helped raise the ambient light a little bit and just make it not as contrasty, because the content here is not meant for a documentary or anything like that. The content was actually just for social media. They sent us about 50 scripts to just read, and a lot of it was just general social media marketing. We had to frame this for 9:16, which is like Instagram, TikTok format, and also 16:9, which I'm glad I have my small HD 502 monitor there just for exposure, but also for checking what will fit in 9:16, and also just making sure that the 16:9 looks good as well in case they want to run YouTube ads or anything that has a wider aspect ratio. Most of the day was literally me and the producer checking the scripts before we read them out, making sure they were accurate, and then just having the subject just read it straight to camera. It was not a very complicated shoot. It was just very long hours because there was a lot of scripts to go through. It probably took about 3 to 4 minutes to go through them, sometimes more depending on how many takes it took. So it was just me watching the monitor like a hawk, making sure they were keeping direct eye contact with the lens, making sure they weren't stumbling, and just making sure that everything looked and sounded good. It was a lot of pressure on me because I had to basically wear 3 hats. I was the DP, I was the audio guy, and I was the teleprompter operator. But it's one of those gigs where, you know what, I had the free time, why not? And of course, I'm always trying 110% of my effort as much as possible to impress the client and overall just be the most efficient person I can be. So here is the producer just checking with the subject, making sure that everything on the script looks right, because this script was not written by them. It was written by some marketing company. So sometimes what they say is not medically accurate. So it was just another step in the process that, maybe did slow us down, but it's better that we checked and made sure all the content was right before we set a script that either they didn't believe in or was completely wrong. And here's the other FX3 built on the Ronin RS2 gimbal. Literally lived on this thing and was just used for B-roll purposes. A lot of it was procedures that the med spa company actually does. So a lot of it was just like them faking or actually doing real procedures. Just got a little bit of footage of me shooting B-roll. It was entirely on the gimbal, and that was requested 4K 30. So I decided to just go gimbal, just keep it very, very steady, and just made sure I have everything I needed. So no matter what, if these shots were taken out of context, you kind of can still understand the story that's being told. And after a very long day, it probably was a 10 to 11 hour day. I also woke up super early. It's time to pack up. And by the end of the shoot, I think the producer and definitely the people at the med spa company really seemed to appreciate everything I did for them, because we went way over the time that I was supposed to be gone. I was supposed to be out at 5. It ended up being closer to 7 by the time we wrapped. But I think I really impressed the producer, so we'll see if he calls me back. He was asking me for my day rates and asking me about my availability. Even said like, hey, do you travel? And I was like, I love to travel. So there might even be a possible California shoot. Who knows? I mean, just try to do my best, try to make sure that I always have the client very satisfied and happy, and make sure that I did my very best.
Cut the vlog a little short. Sorry I'm in like complete darkness in my car. Everyone was actually really nice, and we wrapped probably like 2 hours later than we were originally supposed to. But yeah, everyone was nice. They even helped me carry all my gear to my car because there were steps, so I couldn't just load it all into the cart and like wheel it away. So very cool people, very cool people. It was a long shoot, but you know what? It's one of those things where you smile through it. You deal with if we're running behind or if changes are needed. There was a lot of, towards the end of the day, there was a lot of waiting around. There was a lot of off the cuff stuff, things that needed to be added. And overall, I think I did a pretty good job. So anyway, guys, it's been a long day. I'm about to fuck up some Asian food.
Yeah, it's for your